Chris, the other night we had a call with a Spanish group, and there are a lot of people on the call who very, very happy with the patches, have no problem talking about X39, no problem about talking about the results they've been having, and many of them have had stunning results. But when it comes to talking about the business side of things, they're finding that they're stumbling, they're getting nervous. They think maybe it's not such a good thing to talk about money when at the same time as talking about health. So one of the things I said, please get it in your mind that we're offering 4 things here. For the people, I got 4, got my hand into the camera. But the things that we're offering here are physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, and financial health. A lot of people there's a lot of people out there in the world looking for financial stability, financial health. And there's a lot of people who are, let's say, come into this from just the health side, who are then doubtful about the money side. I was talking with a guy today. He's got a health food store, vitamins and all sorts of stuff. And I talked about it to him, and he went, it's one of those pyramids. I don't like those things. I said, well, you need to look at this and look at some of the testimonials. I said, how am I looking? He said, you're looking great. So from there, he said, please send me information, and I will be a little bit firm with him when it comes to us having a talk. And I'll say, you're going to have to revisit your ideas about what a pyramid is or a pyramid isn't, and about network. But I don't know if people here also are stumbling on talking about the money side of things.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's quite interesting that you mentioned that. When you talk about the word network marketing, I think people have got a very big misconception as to what the word network marketing is. The first thing I mentioned to a person is, did you know that network marketing has been around for nearly 80 years? 80 years. And it's a proven, successful industry. And I mean, we all know network marketing has made more millionaires than any other industry in the world. And what I love about it is it's a level playing field. So it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It's got no discrimination for gender. That doesn't matter your culture, your background, your race. Absolutely means nothing. Anybody can get involved in network marketing. And I think the biggest thing, the misconception that people have is when you look at the word pyramid scheme, 99% of the time that does not have a physical product involved. And I know specifically during COVID, that is when scams were rampant. I think the scammers from whatever various countries were on overdrive, putting all these scams together, and a lot of people got hurt. So when a person hears, oh, you introduce somebody else, the first thing that pops into their mind is people that have been caught out by scams. And the funny thing is, most of the time, it's not even the people that have ever even been involved in network marketing before. It's normally what I call the peanut gallery. It's always somebody else. And it's somebody that might have joined Amway, as an example. And they went and bought a pack, and they got a whole lot of toothpaste and soap and shampoo and everything in that garage full of stock. And they spoke to 3 people about the business. And those 3 people said no. And then they basically stopped them in their tracks and said, this network marketing thing doesn't work. So you got to also take it from where it comes. So I always like to ask a question to say, why do you say that? Is there a reason why you're saying this is a pyramid scheme? There's got to be a reason. And let them talk to you and find out where it comes from. So the biggest thing is what I say to people is, listen, LifeWave has been in business for 19 years and it's got 133 patents. Now, the company, if it was an illegal pyramid scheme, it would not be in business for 19 years. It would have been closed down. And by the by, when it comes to pyramid schemes, did you know that they are actually illegal. So a pyramid scheme would be closed down. So this is good old traditional network marketing with a difference. So I must actually one day I must do the training on handling objections, and I've actually got a whole sheet on handling objections when it comes to the pyramid scheme myth. It's called the pyramid scheme myth, and there's a lot of well-known people out there that endorse the network marketing industry. Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Donald Trump. You know what I'm actually going to do? I was doing this in the background when you've asked the question initially. So while you were getting back onto the call, I quickly found this clip. It's about 2.5 minutes, and it talks about the endorsements of the network marketing industry. So I've actually got 3 clips that I want to play tonight. So I'm going to play them one at a time as we sort of talking through it. So I'm just going to quickly open this, share screen, here, share sound. And here we are, slideshow from the beginning. There we go. Move this out the way and let me press play. Here we go.
Because of all of the misinformation about this profession, I think it's important for you to hear from some people you may know and what they think about network marketing. Former President of the United States, Bill Clinton, speaking to a group of network marketers, said, "You strengthen our country and our economy, not just by striving for your own success, but by offering the opportunity to others. Your industry gives people a chance, after all, to make the most of their own lives. And to me, that's the heart of the American dream." Former Prime Minister of Great Britain, Tony Blair, said, "Network marketing is a tremendous contribution to the overall prosperity of the economy." Billionaire investor Warren Buffett, after purchasing ownership of a network marketing company, said, "It was the best investment I ever made." Financial literacy expert and best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki said, "Network marketing gives people the opportunity with very low risk and very low financial commitment to build their own income-generating asset and acquire great wealth. It has the potential to save the United States and the world because it teaches people not to be employees, but be entrepreneurs." Billionaire investor and best-selling author Donald Trump said, "If I were starting over today, I would make millions in the network marketing industry." Motivational speaker and TV personality Les Brown said, "Network marketing has produced more millionaires than any other industry in the history of the world." Motivational speaker and best-selling author Jim Rohn said, "Network marketing is really the greatest source of grassroots capitalism because it teaches people how to take a small bit of capital, that is your time, and build the American dream." Best-selling author and university professor Stephen Covey said, "I think network marketing has come of age. It's become undeniable that it's a viable way to entrepreneurship and independence for millions of people." Motivational speaker and best-selling author Brian Tracy said, "The future of network marketing is unlimited. It has probably made more millionaires of more people in more countries than any other form of business starting from nothing. There's no end in sight. It will continue to grow because better people are getting into it. It will become one of the respected business methods in the world." Economist and best-selling author Harry S. Dent Jr. said, "The advantage of network marketing is the ease of entry, low risk, and low startup cost. Almost everything else has very high risk." Co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series and motivational speaker Jack Canfield said, "Network marketing has been nothing but good for everyone I know who's been involved with it because they did it seriously. They played full out and they have been very successful. It's a constant barrage of success stories. I would get involved. You can always test drive anything, the product, the service, the community, and then lean into it a bit. If it feels good, lean into it a lot."
How cool is that? Just a couple of well-known people endorsing the industry, and you can see that was Donald Trump before he became president.
Yeah, for a lot of people, the idea of becoming a millionaire is like that's a stretch. But for a lot of people, what they really want before anything is have regularity and financial stability. And I can say for myself, I had 3 projects before COVID, and 2 of them. One of them has really survived, but it cost me an extra year's work and an extra 50,000-60,000 euros to keep it alive, which was unexpected expense. Another one died completely because it was a project for the restaurant business. Another one may or may not come to life. We don't know. But with 6 months work in LifeWave, I've got a stability that I didn't have 6 months ago. And that for me is huge. And then one starts to relax.
Well, I think also what starts to happen is where we always say LifeWave is different. And I tell you why. I think every single one of us on the call this evening have been involved in network marketing in some form or another. I'm 48 years old, and the first time I did network marketing, I was 22, and that was spray vitamins 25 years ago. And then I've been out of the industry for a good 2 decades, and I've had a lot of people approach me for all different things. And I think the part that I don't like is the undercover secret agent type thing, where people are trying to talk to you about a business opportunity. When I see the word business opportunity, I want to run for the hills. That is like so 80s, 90s, where LifeWave is so different is we lead with the product. That's what I love about it. And you've heard George and I speak many times that this is not a Me Too product. So yes, the network marketing industry has always got very high quality products to offer, very high quality. And the thing is, you're competing for a piece of the same pie, and that means you're competing with other companies within the industry. And not only that, you're also competing with the retail industry, which I'm going to tap into that now. So yes, you're always comparing, and it always goes down to price. Everything goes down to price and ingredients and that type of thing. We've joked around a few times saying my powder's got this, your powder doesn't have that. So you're getting into a product and a pricing war, where we've always spoken about LifeWave, where this is in a league of its own because of the 133 patents that protect the product. So it is completely different, and it's product driven. And once a person starts to get the results on the product, their walls towards the industry, the misconception of the industry start to lower down, because now they feel like they're able to share it from the heart. And that's what we talk about, is we're not selling anything to anybody. All we are doing is sharing an experience with everybody. And we talk about, facts tell and stories sell. And let me tell you, most of the people that I shared LifeWave with right in the beginning, I just shared what the product did for me. That's all I did. And what it did for my mom. And, sharing that with people is it's life-changing, because people knew 6 months ago where I was. A lot of you guys know at the end of last year, I was hitting complete burnout. I'm a complete different person to what I was, 6 months ago. George can attest to that. George has known me for about 2 years. And, it's like when you experience something good, what do? You're going to share it with people. You must see how many movies I've shared with people where I've watched a good movie and I'm saying, guys, or a series, guys, you got to watch this, you've got to watch that. And people watch it. Netflix doesn't give me a commission in my bank account for referring that movie to people. So it's exactly the same thing. We do it on a day-to-day basis. When we go to a good restaurant, we do it automatically as human beings. When you have a good experience, you're going to share it very naturally with people. So you go to a good restaurant, and I've had a good meal, good service, that type of thing. What am I going to do? I'm going to share it with other people. And I tell you what's so beautiful is, what this business can do for you. When you go to a restaurant, you're not ordering from the menu from right to left. You order from the menu from left to right. Now, George, what do you think I'm saying there?
I'm trying to figure that out.
I can see that. Think about it. Think about it very carefully. Look at a menu in every restaurant. What have you got on the left-hand side? The description of the food and whatever you're ordering. What
And
is
on
on
the
the
right,
right-hand side are the prices. So what do most people do when we go to a restaurant? We order from right to left. So we're looking at the prices because we're price conscious nowadays, right? So you don't order the meal that you really feel like eating. You order the meal that your budget is allowing you to order at a restaurant. And this industry will allow you to order from the left-hand side of the menu, not the right. So in other words, you will order whatever you feel like eating, irrelevant of what the price of it
that's
is.
true. That's true. I
And
never
then
thought.
talk.
No,
And then
in my experience in the last few years, definitely in restaurants, look at, yeah, that's that costs that costs that. If we have that star, and make kind of a decision, looking at both sides, left and right.
both sides.
But since LifeWave, I did a trip over Christmas, New Year's, and we could relax somewhat and not look at the right side of the menu. It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
I never thought that.
Yeah, and I tell you, talking about the restaurant industry, is something also I learned a while back is, um, when we're talking about talking to other people, we talk about the concept of rejection, where people take rejection personally. So when a person says, "No, I'm not interested," what that really means is not right now. It just means that they're not ready. It's all about timing. I've had people say to me, "No." No with the capital letters with an explanation, no. And you think, wow, okay, that's pretty hectic. Guess what? A few months later, they come back and they go, send me more information, and they join. So we mustn't take it so literally when a person says no, because all they're really saying is not right now. And George and I have spoken about the concept SW, 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 next. Some will, some won't. So what? Next, move on. So that means that you're just busy going through the people that you're in contact with. We talk about making that name list. One day I'm going to go into a bit more detail in training that talks about making a name list, but these are people that you are going to be contacting. So if you think about the rejection side of it, us as human beings, we take things personally, and it's not directed at us at all because people are just in different cycles at any given time in their life, and it's all about timing. So if you think about you go to a restaurant and there's a table full of people, and the waiter comes and he says to everybody, right, would you like something to drink? Everybody orders something to drink. He comes back again, and then he asks more people if you'd like something to drink. And the person says, no, I don't want anything to drink. The waiter's not taking that personally because the waiter knows the next round, that person is more than likely going to say, yes, please, I'd like another drink. So that's in a very quick time frame. But when we talk about the bigger picture, we talk about weeks and months go by. You'll be surprised, guys. Let me tell you something. I've been so surprised where we think to ourselves, oh my goodness gracious, if I speak to this person and they see this, they are going to fly with this. They are absolutely going to love this. Oh my goodness, I know they're going to love it. You send them the information, they go, no, it's not for me. You sit there and you go, what? You had such a different idea in your mind. And then on the flip side of the coin, other person that you sort of randomly sending them information and going, have a look at this whenever you feel like it. And they come back and go, oh my goodness gracious, I've been waiting for this. I've been praying for something like this. How do I get involved? And you thought in your mind that person wouldn't be interested. So we can actually have a lot of fun with this. We can actually have a lot of fun. The people that you think are not going to be interested are the ones that are, and vice versa. I don't know about you, George. Have you seen that before?
Yeah, Yeah. It's a process. Everything's a process with people. There is, for example, there's a woman who's a close friend of mine in New York. I told her right at the beginning, she said, yeah, no, that's not so expensive. I'll get a cold pack. I need to try it. But she's been busy with this and that and the other, and it was impossible to talk to her. And I know how she is. And the other day she called, and I mentioned a friend who is also in New York who she knows is using it. She said, yeah, no, I have to start that. I've got guests now. Can we talk on Sunday? So it's a process. I'm never in a hurry, even though I'm always in a hurry. Listen, let's ask people here if they have a question about everything to do with anything to do with approaching people about LifeWave, or if they have an issue with talking about the business side of things rather than the product side of things. You know, if anybody has a question, wants to raise their hand, or because I think you've got all the microphones muted, somebody would need to raise their hand to ask a question.
Raise the hand, yeah. No, definitely. Otherwise, if I let everybody unmute, we won't hear each other speak, I think. But you know,
yeah, if anybody, I'd love to hear the question so we can give you more support. And by the way, Chris was working the title of today's call sort of changed because Chris had an unexpected day, so he didn't finish what he wanted to prepare.
Yeah, because if I do something, I don't like to do it halfway. I like to do it 100%. So I've got some really, really cool literature that I'm putting together, a lot of good content, which I'll have on a proper slideshow, which I'll work on during the week, and I'll let George know as soon as I'm ready to present that. But there's some really good nuggets. I'm gonna show like another really cool little clip now. It's called The Lone Nut. The Lone Nut, and talking about the first followers, right? And how do we create following? It's a quick little 3-minute clip talking about showing leadership and how people initially might see you as a little bit weird, a little bit different, maybe a little bit wacky, but you'll see how quickly, once you start to get mass awareness, and how quickly people then start to shift over. And this is what we're doing now. And this is where we talk about patching people. You talk to our leaders. What do they always talk about? Patch people, let the patch do the work. Once you've got enough patches out there in a certain community, in an area, you'll start to see how it starts a natural chain reaction. So let me open the screen again. Here we go.
That's a really big one. Let the patches do the work.
Let the patches do the work. Yep. Let's stop screen share. Let me go back here. And here we are. We go to this one. There we are. And we move this from over here. Try to move your head over there, and then from this slide. Okay, next one. There we go. And press play. You can see the screen, George?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. And we press play. Oh, no, not this one. Hang on. It's wrong clip. There we are.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, The first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
How cool is that, eh? How cool. The lone nut, the first follower. And it's amazing. I wrote this down. As more people jump in, it's not risky, and be public. Be public. And, you know, we were talking about this before we got onto the call. When George joined LifeWave, when I joined LifeWave, the moment we registered, and we got an email saying, welcome to LifeWave, your application is successful, and you log into your back office for the very first time. You log in for the very first time, and what do you see? Your little man there, and little blocks there, and there's no names, there's no people. All it is 2 little plus signs. That's all it is, just 2 little plus signs. And that's where you get, George, what are you doing?
I'm going to show it. Everybody should know. Yeah, because this is what it looked like for the beginning for everybody, and it's only a question of time. Let me go down to here, because I look at this every so often. I think this is really important, and when I join with somebody, I'll tell them this is when I join somebody in. This is exactly what it looked like for me 6 months ago, just like what we're looking at now. 0 on my left, 0 on my right. And then as time goes by, then 1 person, then 2 people, 2 people, 4 people, 4 people, 6 people, 6 people, 8 people. And if you do this with persistency and consistency, look at those numbers. Wow, a minute ago, it was 579 on my left leg. Before this call, it was 578. Now it's just takes on a life of its own completely. And so what has that done for me in my life? And we want to help everybody here who wants to do the same, because it's only a question of being persistent, consistent, passion, patience, learning some stuff, but nothing too this is the last couple of weeks and this week so far, and to have that coming in every week and going just generally on its way up, that's an amazing thing to achieve in just really half a year's of attention and work. And it's only having the vision, keeping it in your mind, and without being, let's say, pesado in Spanish, without being, overwhelming with people. It's listening to you, throwing a seed, listening to see if there's an echo, and then saying a bit more. And if there is no echo, don't even go forward at that time. Anyway, I just wanted to show that because I sometimes I need to remember this. I need to remember this because it can seem to other people very hard, and I remember this. It's like these two pluses are huge possibilities. And anyways, maybe you want to add something to that, Chris.
No, thanks, George. I know exactly what you're talking about. It can be quite daunting and overwhelming. When as soon as I opened my back office, I saw those two little plus signs. You sort of, okay, stop yours. Yeah, you think you kind of you take a deep breath and go, where do I start? Where do I start? This is like brand new. I don't even have one person that I've contacted. I went right back to basics and I just started. Well, first of all, I started using the product. And then I was lucky. After 5 days, I could start to feel something already, which gave me confidence. But didn't stop me because what I did was I shared your testimony, George. I shared I shared other people's stories in the interim. And many times you've heard me say one of the biggest things for me was when George said to me that Lifeway has been in business for 19 years. That just sealed it for me because that shows stability. And the patents, oh guys, that was just the game changer for me. And getting it out there. What's so amazing as well is George, I love your transparency of showing your back office. That's what I love about LifeWave. Most people would never do something like that. That's what we do. We totally open and transparent, and we just want to help everybody because we can guide you. We can show you things that we've done that might not have worked, and we can share that with you. Ask us. And if you say, I want to do X, Y, and Z, we say, no, don't do that. We've tried that. It doesn't work. So it's not always about what works. It's also about what doesn't work. And we can share that type of stuff with you. We've already been in the trenches. We've got a bit of a head start in the game. But what's so beautiful is, as you guys know, George signed me up, right? Now, you guys saw George's back office there. You saw that he earned $800 last week. Now, I earned over $1,000 last week. And you think to yourself, but how does that work? How does that work? But George signed you up. I thought, network marketing, it should be, the person above will make the most money. There's the misconception there of a pyramid scheme. This is so far from a pyramid scheme because George signed me up. And guess what? I earned more money last week than what George did because of the way we've structured our left and right legs.
You can pay my ticket to South Africa then.
Oh, no, it's beautiful. It swings and roundabouts. It's like in South Africa, we understand the word shongololo. You guys have heard it. You know what a shongololo is. Anybody overseas, if you don't know what that word is, Google it. Shongololo, or like a centipede. It's like those little worms with a shell on it. It's like a little, like an armadillo, but it's a worm. And it's got thousands of little legs, hundreds of little legs. And this business works like a shongololo. So what happens is the shongololo is busy moving, this big worm, okay, and all the little legs busy going like crazy. And it sort of goes, right? And you watch the legs, they sort of go and then stop, and then go and then stop, but it's still moving. And you see the shongololo sort of move like that. So this is the way the business works. It's got to breathe. It's got to breathe. So it'll move forward, go back, move forward, go back. It's like the tides of the ocean. It's got an organic growth of its own, and that is completely normal. So you might see like the 1 week it goes up, a little bit down, a little bit, but it's keeping on going on the up the whole time. So Yeah,
Josh,
and look at the numbers. And it starts with one person. Starts with one person.
Josh has a question.
Yes, let's and I think there's Desiree there as well. So let's ask Josh and Desiree to unmute.
Hi.
Hello.
It's Desiree.
Hi,
There we
Chris.
go. How you doing?
Hi, George. Hi, fine, thank you. The question was actually before you showed you had a question about how to sign somebody to sign up, right? We've been going through the training of Onyx's training, and she said sometimes when somebody's too busy, she pre-signs them up, or she signs them up and then they just have to sign in or something. I'm not quite sure how that works.
Okay, what I think, but I'm not sure. I've worked with quite a few people, helping them to sign up because they've been too busy, or they don't know what to do. So what's happened to me is the following. I try and help people always to do their first sign up, and with their first people to do their first people sign up, so that they learn and their people learn. But what has happened in some cases, not too many, so the person, somebody in my second line, i.e. the inviter knows me, but the other person doesn't know me, they don't want to give their card details. Understandable. A lot of people don't mind, and I've had a lot of people's card details, the CVV code, and filled it up in front of them. Obviously, I don't save that stuff, but some people don't want to do that. So it may be something to do with that. What I do now is, if I'm helping somebody in my second or third line to sign, to be signed up with the person I actually know personally, at the beginning of the call, I'll say, look, if you feel comfortable to do it, we can do it on my screen. Otherwise, we'll do it on your screen. I'll tell you what to do, and then you'll stop screen share when you need to put your card details in. So maybe it's something to do with that. The Americans, they use this form, which we don't do, and Chris and I have discussed this quite a lot. They use a paper form to everybody to give their details, but on that paper form, they also ask for the credit card details. And I would never write my credit card details on a form that I give to somebody else, and who knows who else is going to look at it. I don't know if that helps to answer the question. And Chris can also add a little bit, because he's doing the patch parties, and because I asked him, how do you do the registration with 30 people in a room who want to sign up simultaneously? So first off, Desiree, does that help answer your question? Maybe. And number two, Chris, give some comments on all of that.
Yeah, when it comes to okay.
I think, so, Chris, from the understanding is that she's able to pre-register them, and then they sign in and then put in their bank details. I think that's what she's doing.
Okay, but the thing, it's kind of what I understood, but I don't know how you can. I haven't been successful. Maybe I'll call support tomorrow and ask this. Can I do the whole registration without the bank details and then let them sign in to do the bank details themselves? I haven't seen a way to leave it half done. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, that's why I'm asking. Exactly.
Okay, I'll find out.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, no, you can't do half. Lucinda's busy with one of her friends right now, and she's signing up together with her. And yeah, you can't half sign a person up. That kicks you off. You're either in or out. It's
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's a commitment, person they're either joining or they're not joining. It's like you can't come into this half pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. You can't be sort of half pregnant. So that's a commitment. Are you joining or aren't you joining? So yeah, that's just where I'm at. I've never heard of anybody half signing up. But if you can just find out what a bit more clarity on what Onyx means there. I don't know if Harvey might know. See, Harvey's on the call. Maybe he can give us some feedback on a half signing a person up. Harvey, have you ever half signed anybody up? Check if Harvey's
I
Harvey's on
can make-
I'm not sure if that even existed.
the
Either
it
I
kicks
sign
you
them
off.
up or they don't.
Mm,
I've never, I've heard of someone just getting their position and paying the $25 and they go in and do the rest, but then they're gonna pay more money if they're gonna get the gold kit, or the silver kit. I have always, when I enroll someone, I do it right there in front of them. Or we
Mm.
do it over the phone.
mm.
So I never heard of half signed up, but I'd like to know more about that though for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Harvey.
So Desiree, maybe send me the video and tell me at what minute you think we should look at it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If we can get Desiree to send that video to see there, definitely. But yeah, so very quickly, going sort of like back to basics. A lot of people that I'm working with right now is the thing is the first contact. The first contact, what is it that you say to a person? There's a concept, a funnel which is called AIDA, ARDA. Attention, interest, desire, action. So the first thing that you want to do is get a person's attention. And I always like to ask a person a question. So, this is what I find works for me is, when you ask a person how they are and what they've been up to, I can tell you right now, 9 out of 10 times, person is going to ask you back, how are you doing? What are you up to? So what I love about this, so somebody you haven't spoken to for, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, even a year, you send them a message and you just basically say, been thinking about you. We haven't spoken for a while. How's your job going? How's the family going? How have you been keeping? And the person's going to reply back to you saying, oh, everything is cool. I've just started a new job, or family is good. How have you been keeping? What are you up to? That is 9 out of 10 times. So what I love about this to open the conversation, because now we're talking about the A for AIDA, getting a person's attention. They now coming back to you asking, what are you up to? How have you been keeping? And that gives you an invitation, permission to for you to send information about what you're doing. It is very soft, it is very subtle, and it's not like in your face, like you are spamming somebody. You turn around and go, yeah, everything is good on this side. Wow, I've just come across stem cell rejuvenation patches. Have you heard of those before? Now, how friendly and soft is that? They're either going to come back to you and go, yes, I've heard about it, or no, I haven't heard about it. What is that all about? And then it basically opens the door when you can send the website, startx39.com, and you send the information, or say it is somebody that you know could be suffering from a certain ailment or something like that, you could send a testimony. At this point, this is where I like to send a voice note. Guys, when it comes to a voice note, keep it to about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes max. And that's where I share the testimony of my mom. And the people come back to me and go, oh my goodness gracious, please send me more information. And then that's where you get the ball rolling, because that is the I in the concept of AIDA, attention, interest. Because now you've got the person's interest, D standing for desire. How do you get the desire up? Desire is when you get a person onto a Zoom call. So now you've given a person a bit of information. Now you're piquing their interest. They've gone from attention, interest, desire is when you get a person onto a Zoom call, and then let us do the work for you. It's not your job to present, because a lot of times people think, oh my goodness, I've just watched this presentation now. I can't present like George. can't present like Chris or Harvey. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to share this. It's not up to you. You are drip feeding. All you're doing is giving people little bits of information because you don't want to puke on a person either, because that gets messy. Oh my goodness gracious. If a person gives me way too much information, it's information overload. It's going to blow your mind. You must be careful about doing that because we all get excited and you got all this information and you're going to send 5 clips and this info and that clip. Eventually the person's just going to go, oh, this is way too much information. You've got to drip feed because don't forget, you are at a different frequency at this person. And what we're doing is we're tuning in. So if you look at a radio station as an example, how do you get to listen to a radio station? You tune in. And this is what you're doing with human beings. You are tuning in to get onto the same wavelength. Because initially, now, because you've been on the patches, your frequency is risen already, as it is naturally, just because of the product. So now you've got this excitement. You coming with this excitement, this person's still in their normal life. They got their job, they've got their family, they've got their life. And you coming across like this with this major excitement, you're on different stations. You are flying past each other, different frequencies. You've got to slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. And then what's going to happen is you're going to give people little bits of information, drip feeding. You go to a hospital and they put that needle into your arm. You've got that saline liquid. If they take that full gallon and they squeeze that into you and put it into your body in 30 seconds, 1 minute, it's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. But what they do is the nurse goes and takes a little dropper and goes drop, 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 drop. And it's going to take 4 hours to get that drip into your body. So you want to get the information to a person over a 4-day period or 5-day or a week, depending on the interaction, how quickly they're getting back to you. You don't go and give them all that information at one time, little bit by little bit. As Onyx Cole talks about, you're dancing with a person. This is the beginning phases. And then you get the person onto the Zoom call. Let us do the presenting for you. That's what we're here for. Let us do the presenting for you. And then from there, that's when we get into the meeting after the meeting. So the Zoom call is really, really cool because that's where you're exposing the company, product, and at the end, we very quickly talk about there's 2 sides of the business. There's the wholesale side where a person can join and they can get the product at wholesale price. They do not have to build the business. They do not have to. It is the optional side. And then you've got the side of the business where a person can turn this into a career. They can turn this into a business. But what we are finding that is happening is people that are coming onto the product that are saying, I don't want to build businesses. I don't want to do network marketing. A month later, 2 months later, they're asking, where are the links? How do we sign people up? Because what's happening is the product is doing the work and people are starting to build the business by accident. They're building the business by accident because of what the product is doing, because they're sharing. When you experience something good, you can't not share it. And this is how LifeWave is growing organically, which is so beautiful. So
I ask questions, but today I asked a cheeky question. I went to my health food store where the guy, I've known him for years, and at one point I went to him, we kind of had a session with him, and he said, oh, I haven't seen you for ages. And I said to him, how am I looking? He said, fantastic. He said, you're looking great. I said, I need to talk to you.
oh, that is brilliant. That is so amazing. So amazing. And you know what? People are noticing different to me as well. And something I also just want to mention to you is I was talking earlier on about that concept of rejection. There's a gentleman that's in our team. A few of you guys have seen Stephen before. At the end of last year, I went to go and have coffee with Stephen. And I've probably been with LifeWave for maybe 3 weeks. So here I am, I'm bouncing, I'm excited, I'm like a dog with two tails. Get there and I'm showing him the sleeve and I'm showing him the patches. And all I want to do is patch him because now we've heard from our leaders, patch people. So I'm out to the patches and I'm ready to start putting it on him. And he's going like this, he's pulling back. And I said, yeah, look at it. So I give it to him and he wouldn't even touch it. He sort of pulled his body back. And I said, yeah, look at this, hold this. And he said, no, I'm not touching that. I was like, what? Talk about rejection. That was rejection having a cup of coffee with a friend. He didn't even want to touch my patches. You know how I was feeling? I thought, oh my goodness gracious. So I said to him, all right, so, we were talking about ailments and that type of thing. I was telling him about myself, telling him about my mom. And I said, do you have anything that you're dealing with? He goes, no, I'm healthy. I said, right, wouldn't you like to turn your age clock back? Wouldn't you like to de-age 8 years? No, he's fine. Didn't want to touch the patches. And I sort of left it. So we finished the coffee. I came home and Lucinda said to me, Chris, how was your coffee with Stephen? I just said, not what I expected. She goes, why? I said, he rejected me. He said no to my face. He didn't even want to touch my patches. I'm like, oh my word. And what's so amazing is Stephen's wife bought the book Life Force by Tony Robbins. She bought him that book for Christmas. I think the 28th or 29th, Stephen sent me a WhatsApp and said, Chris, tell me more about those little patches with the stem cells you were talking about 2 weeks ago. I'm interested because Tony Robbins speaks about stem cell therapy and peptide therapy in his book. So, sometimes all we're doing is planting that seed. But did I take it personally? I think for an hour or so when I got home, I was feeling, I took it a little bit personally. Then I got over it. Messaged the next person. You just move on. And you're planting that seed. So when he sort of said no, he didn't want to touch my patches. He was just sort of like, not right now. Because it's all about timing. And the biggest thing is, writing things down, guys. I'm going to play another little clip just now. We all know who Joe Dispenza is. Man, this guy is like next level. And he talks about the concept, many metaphysical things. He talks about the power of manifesting. But the biggest thing is the power of the pen. Guys, the power of writing stuff down. And what did I do? I just got a piece of paper out. We all know what this looks like. It's a foolscap pad of paper. It's got two little holes on the side, and it's normally got a line down the middle, and there's about 31 lines. And you just take your pen and paper and you write from 1 to 30. You write it down, 1 to 30. And where things are a little bit different with LifeWave is we're talking about frequency and feeling. And you take your cell phone out. The average person has got 472. You can Google it now. The average amount of people have got 472 contacts on their cell phones. What I did was I took my cell phone out. I wasn't going to start from A to Z. I'm like thinking to myself, that is so school-like, it didn't resonate with it. So what I did was I took the phone out and I just started going A, B, and as soon as somebody's name popped out to me, I just wrote it down. I scrolled a bit more, randomly, just writing the numbers down. And I wrote from 1 to 30, wrote all the people's names down. And I sort of put it on my desk. And this is where I want to start the 331. That's contacting 3 people a day, following up with 3, and doing a presentation for 1. That's what, I'm not going to go into that training now, but that is what Quantum Field, Onyx, has put the system in place, the 331. And but it's leading up to that. So yes, it's contacting 3 people a day, but where do you start? You start with a list. You start with just basically writing 30 people's names down. And what it does is by writing it down, I was just sort of like looking at the names. I sort of left it and put some thought into it. And I was sort of manifesting, putting some real conscious thought into it. And the amount of people that I messaged that said to me, Chris, I was just thinking about you yesterday. This is starting to happen more and more and more at the moment because everything is all about frequency. So I'm going to play another little clip quickly where
But what, just want to add one thing. I'm not somebody really who writes lists, but I have done it. And the main thing for me about writing a list of people is you start a conversation in your mind with the people whose names you've written down. And that is very, it really is a very good exercise.
starting a conversation in your mind. I love that, George. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as an exercise, but it's not the right word. But it's that conversation in your mind actually is kind of preparing the way for you with that person way before they even know about it. Another thing I've had is never miss an opportunity. Just have fun with it, play with it. You know, the guy, I wasn't thinking I'm going to ask him how am I looking, but because he was like, I haven't seen you for a long time, it just popped into my mind. So just have fun with it, play with it. There's not anything wrong that you can do. And he may, I was also feeling, you know, light and happy. So maybe it was that, but just you don't miss opportunities with people to throw a seed out.
And I tell you what, like you say, you know, just write the action of writing it down. Guys, I don't think people realize how powerful it is to take a pen and to put it on paper. I'm going to show you this clip now, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. I can tell you, after watching this clip, you guys are going to get your phone out and you're going to get a piece of paper out, and everybody's going to start writing some names down and watch the magic unfold. Watch the magic unfold.
Just before you start that, I was at one probably 10 years ago, maybe, I had a wall that fell down onto my neighbor's land. And it was like, that was on my head and I was having a bit of a tough time. No, it was probably around the 2007, 2008 crisis. So it was probably a year or two after that, and things were still very difficult. And my daughter came and she photocopied a check and wrote $10,000, 10,000 euros on it and stuck it on my computer. And I went to myself, how can that happen? And there's not gonna, you know, it just seems so far away. Anyways, I met a guy at an event. We started talking. He calls me up. He says, "Can I consult with you?" Because I was doing online stuff at the time. Then he says, "Look, I have some other people," and within like a month, they did a contract with me for $10,000. And the 600 a month upwards. And then I was able to fix the wall. You know how much it cost to fix the wall? All that money.
All that money.
The 10,000, because it was a big stone wall. And I got to the point where the neighbors had sent around the local justice of the peace to say, you have to fix this wall. And I hadn't been able to do it. And suddenly I was able to do it. And the check was still on the computer. So yeah, it does work.
How does it get any better than this? Let me tell you, it's as real as anything. You must see what Lucinda and our mirror looks like. You must see the blank checks that we've got. We write it down every month, and we're manifesting our reality. And the way you do it is by putting pen on paper. So guys, watch this short little clip. It's about 5 minutes. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Here goes.
So when people begin to say, what is my intention? And make it clear on their intention. And they write it down. Now the research shows that less than 2% of the Americans actually write their intentions or goals down. The ones that do actually write them down, they have an 80% chance of reaching those goals if they write them down. So when you write something down, you're telling your brain that you mean it. It's a direction that you're moving, and it has to be ongoing. And it's a to-be statement. A to-be statement is something that you're evolving into. Once you get clear on your intention, you're sponsoring thoughts, the list of reasons why you want to be healthy. Because those sponsoring thoughts are really going to be the driving force to get you going in that direction. If it's healthy, you may have vitality. You may want to look better. If it's wealth, you want freedom. That's what you really want. You want freedom to do whatever you want, right? So when you begin to define your intention and you couple it with a sponsoring thought, now you're giving your body a taste emotionally of what that future is going to be like. Now, the next step is to plan your actions. Master your day, one day at a time. So now you've already dismantled an old part of yourself, and you say, today, the thought I'm going to have is that I'm a genius and I accomplish everything. Or I live in no time and the universe provides for me. The universe lives in my favor. What behaviors am I demonstrating? I'm going to get up and I'm going to work out, or I'm going to read that article on success, or I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to make a choice. And then I'm going to elevate my emotional state. I'm going to keep my energy up the entire day today. Just that simple process, you've already changed on a biological level. Now, if you get up and you prime, review, and remind yourself who you're going to be, then the next step is you warmed up your brain and body to be in that personality. Get your behavior to match your intentions. Now take it out for a test drive and accomplish what you set out to do during the day. In other words, when you get your behaviors to match your intentions and your actions equal to your thoughts, you get your mind and body working together. Now you are mastering exactly what you set out to do. And now when you begin to experience the effects of your choices, those new experiences then begin to reaffirm the emotion that you created from your sponsoring thoughts. Now the loop is starting to change, and your choices begin to become a new habit. Track your changes. Take a moment and journal, or have a little board on your wall and say, I got up earlier, I did a 20-minute walk, I did deep breathing exercises before I went to bed, I feel great, I'm going to do it again. And my definition of a genius is being uncomfortable and being okay with it. And when I can stay in that place of uncertainty and unknown, and I can transmute that energy into clarity or gratitude, that I can get my energy up even though there's chaos around me, then I'm filling that void between the old self and the new self with information. And when you change your energy, you change your life. In other words, you're so busy being elevated and know you can't predict what's going to happen. You're just very clear you're not going to go back to those familiar cravings and familiar urges. And finally, cue your environment. Take a moment and on your dashboard of your car, or on the desk at work, or on the mirror in your bathroom, or on the refrigerator, remind yourself what your future is. Simple little cues, simple words or pictures. And if you keep your conscious mind on what you want, your subconscious mind will take you there. The hardest part about change is not making the same choices you did the day before. So you can say to yourself, okay, I have some pretty tough thoughts I have to overcome today. Let's just put them out and drag them out for observation right now, so I know that when they come up, I'm aware of them and they're not me. That's the old self. And if you begin to look at your choices and the behaviors and you say, you know what, I've been a victim for too long. I'm not going to complain to anyone or anything about anything today. I'm going to make excuses for myself. Those are the two things I'm not going to do. Just not going to go there. If you were to take a minute and really begin to ask yourself, what part of my old self can I not bring to my new future? Because if I want to be a healthy or wealthy person or a genius, I can't bring these thoughts. I can't. That's an alignment with my future. So when you begin to realize that this is the person I'm going to create, these are the things that I have to leave behind. That simple analogy will begin to help you get clear on the direction that you're moving and allow that energy to push you. Now that energy is like the flame on the alchemist's crucible. It's going to turn base metals into gold. It's going to remove the dross. And so purification comes with quite a bit of agitation. There's got to be a stirring that takes place. And I think that most of us in the last year or two have felt this incredible stirring inside of ourselves. And that's because the energy is so intense that our nervous systems have to really adapt to it. So I think our purpose in life is really to remove these layers, these masks, these habits and emotions that block the flow of the divine within us.
How awesome is that? Did you notice how many times he said the word health and wealth in the same sentence? And that's why we've got to watch our self-talk so carefully. If we knew how powerful our words are, you would be so careful about every word that comes out of your mouth. And Lucinda and I, we tag team ourselves, and when we're talking, if there's anything that's in the past tense or it's negative, we stop each other and we say, let's change that wording, and we talk it into the future tense. And we always turn it into something positive, because we know that by our thoughts and by our words, we are manifesting the future that we want, the future that we deserve. And it all starts off with writing the stuff down, watching what comes out of your mouth. One day I might take a photo of our mirror and share it with everybody. It's very hard. When I'm trying to brush my teeth in the morning, I'm trying to look in between all the little papers that are up on the mirror. There's like little spots of mirror left. The rest are just papers. Because what we're doing, reprogramming, positive programming. Because if you look at the programming that we've had, the negative programming specifically over the last 3 years, programming and conditioning, what we're doing is you are reprogramming yourself, because you can reprogram yourself, and you can get rid of all that old stuff, all that negative stuff, and put the right positive, good stuff into your brain. And I hope that that video and everything that George and I have shared with you this evening, I hope you guys have been able to take something out of tonight. And if you just take one thing from tonight that we've shared, one thing that you can implement, we've done our job. And that's what it's all about. And this can change your world, change your life, moving forward, implementing just one thing. So from my side, I'd like to say thank you to everybody for taking the time out, being on the call. George, you just disappeared. Just want to see if you want to say goodbye to everybody. Where's George disappeared to? Can't hear you, George.
I was looking for those 2 pluses again. Because you should put that on your mirror as well.
Awesome. It's been a fun.
I can tell you this, years and years ago, probably in 2005, I did a collage of things that would have wanted to see in my life. And it got lost in the house, and found it a few years ago. And except where I put on relationships, think about the difference, I should have not put that. Everything else worked out. Everything else was like, wow, that worked out, that worked out, that worked out, that worked out. So
it's all about having fun, hey?
It's very powerful what Chris is talking about. It works very much. But anyway, look, specifically on LifeWave, anybody here who wants to take this and run with it, just count on us for our help. Get in touch, talk to your upline. If your upline can't help you, keep going until you find the person who can, or talk with us.
Yeah, support system we have in place is absolutely amazing. And George, thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. You help us all in the background, and you do a lot of work. And I'm grateful to you, grateful to everybody on this call, everybody in the team. Let's have a lot of fun. Let's take this to the next level, guys. Let's patch the world. So from my side, in South Africa, in a dark, I think I've probably got about 10 minutes left of power before everything shuts down. So I better get going, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you guys in the group. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday, for presentation time. Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Evening. Okay. Love you all. Cheers, guys. Bye.